Breathing in, arms come up, elbows stay locked straight, just your shoulders moving up and down. So lifting up and down. Don't forget, really push up as high as you can here, but try and keep your rib cage slightly tucked as you would do on a handstand. So breathing in, breathing out, sorry, going up, breathing in, coming down, and just pushing up and down, up and down, and then keep pushing up and move your arms forwards and backwards. Trying to keep that rib cage as tucked as you can. And then when you're ready, breathing out, bring your hands to your shins or the floor, whatever you can reach. Bend your knees just enough to get the body and your legs connected, and breathe out, straighten your knees. So breathe in, bend, breathe out, straighten. If you need to be up here, it's fine, don't forget to breathe it in, bend in, breathe it out, straighten, lower core, pulling slightly in. Trying to stay a little bit deeper each time you're forward folding. Cool. And then when you're ready, slowly begin to roll your spine up to standing. Step your left leg forward or your right leg back, so your left side is forward. You're going to do 10 split squats. Front hip, ideally below your front knee if you can. It doesn't matter if you can't. If you can get lower and come back up. You're going to do 10, make sure your front knee never caves inwards. Keep pushing off on your front heel. Just going down as low as you feel you can do. Make sure there's no pain. And once you've done about 10, you're going to turn your feet towards your right. Still in a nice wide position. Then set your hips back, knees push out 5 times. So hips always push back first on this one. Just mobilising the hip. Cool. Once you've done your 5, facing forwards again, still your left leg is forward. Going to come into crescent lunge. So when you're ready, breathing out, come down as low as you feel comfortable. It can be high or it can be low. Breathe it in, reach your arms up, and if you can back slightly, just opening your back and your shoulders as well. Hold it here for 3, for 2, for 1. Back knee comes down, front elbow, front knee. Squeeze your heel in towards your glute, or make a fist and push your heel into your fist to make your hamstrings contract harder. Watch they don't cramp, so push in for 5. 4, if you've been doing this a while now, you should be able to push a little bit harder without the cramping. 3, 2, 1, come to hands and knees. Elbows stay completely locked straight, just your shoulders moving. So bring your shoulder blades together and breathing out, push apart and really try and separate them as much as you can. So breathing in, come down, squeeze your shoulder blades together here and breathe out, push up. So coming down and up, and try and focus on keeping your elbows completely locked straight so they're not bending, it's just your shoulders moving. And then breathing out, round your spine, tuck your chin. Breathe in, arch your spine, looking forwards. Mobilising as much as you can, so breathing out, rounding, really try and round. Push through your shoulders still here. And breathe in, expanding your rib cage, trying to arch your whole spine. Breathing in, out, rounding. And breathing in, arching. Coming back to a neutral position. So moving your shoulders in front of your wrists as far as you can without any pain, and then you're going to begin to lean back and lift your fingers and first knuckles off the floor, and you're just going to rock forwards, stretch, come back and lift. So instead of doing a static hold we sometimes do, it's just a bit of movement now, and try and lift your fingers and your knuckles at the earliest point you can, even if it means coming back here and then they start to lift, that's fine. So coming forward, stretch, come back, lift. Come forward, stretch, back and lift. Cool. And then come back to a neutral position. Set your shoulders first, tuck your toes, send your hips up and back. It's quite warm today, so you may feel a little bit more flexible. So move your shoulders forward and then push your hands forward to move yourself back. So move your shoulders forward and then push your hands forward. So you feel the top front of your shoulder working to push you back. Forwards, push forwards to push yourself back. And each time you're coming back into down dog, try and straighten out your legs a little bit deeper, a little bit longer if you can. Cool. A couple more. One more. Really trying to open your shoulders. And then step your right foot in between your hands. Come up to standing, or come up to standing and step your right leg through. Hips face the front. You've got your 10 split squats here now. As you did on your other side, driving off your heel. If you need to hold on to something, don't forget you can always hold on to something. Front knee tracking over your second toe, making sure you've got that arch in your front foot. And once you've done about 10, you're going to turn both feet towards your left. Cool. Feet turned out just a little bit more now. Because of that, push your knees open wider, so hips go back, knees push out, really trying to feel the stretch inside your thigh. 5 times, so hips go back, knees push out, maybe sinking a little bit lower on this set. Once you've done your 5, turn towards the front, so your right leg is forward still. You're going to come into a crescent lunge, it can be high, it can be low. Breathing out, coming down as low as you feel comfortable. Breathing in, reach your arms, and slow, come back slightly today. So trying to open your chest and your back a little bit here. So lifting high for 3, for 2, for 1. Front elbow, front knee, squeeze in or push into your fist. 5, push hard. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to hands and knees. So you can do your second set of scapular push-ups on hands and knees or step into plank. And then it's just your shoulders moving. Bring your shoulder blades together. Push apart. So same as we did before, but maybe in plank position. Or come down to your knees if you need to. And then onto cat and cows again, but start at your hips this time. So start your hips, lower back, upper back, your neck. Hips, lower back, upper back, and your neck. Hips, lower back, upper back, and your neck. Just like a wave travelling up your spine. Same breathing pattern, breathing out as you're going up, breathing in as you're coming down. Come back to neutral, bring the backs of your hands to the mat, fingers facing inwards, so stretch the top of your wrist now. Bend your elbows deeply, breathe out, begin to extend your elbows. Breathe in, bend. Breathe out straight, only come up as straight as you can of course. Breathe in, bend, breathe out straight. A couple more, breathe out straight. Then come back to hands and knees, hands on the shoulders, knees underneath your hips. So set your shoulders first, push to the top of your scapular push up. Tuck your toes, send your hips up and back into your down dog. Then in down dog you're going to bend your knees just off the floor and come back up. Come down and back up. Make sure your knees don't cave inwards as you're bending your knees, so keep them in line with your toes as you're bending. Slowly begin to walk your feet towards your hands and bring your feet close together. Keep your heels down for as long as you can. Begin to squat. If you need to come onto your toes, that's fine, come onto your toes. Mobilise forwards and backwards. If you can get your knees to the floor, get your knees. If you can get your hips or heels to the floor, you can do it like this. Or keep your hands down and just mobilise here. Ankle mobility does take a long time to improve, but it will eventually improve if you keep working at it. Cool. When you're ready, breathing out, slowly begin to extend your legs and again roll your back up to standing, so just rounding your spine up to standing. Bring your feet to shoulder distance, slightly turned out. Try and keep your elbows completely locked straight on here, thumbs up behind you. Try not to let your arms come forward as well, it's quite hard. And try to keep your heels down. So arms are up, just outside shoulder distance, thumbs point behind you. Feet turned out, your heels are shoulder distance. And you're going to begin to squat. It's fine just to stop here if that's where you get to. Otherwise, come as low as you can. Keep your shoulders open, your knees open. And then breathing out. Come down into your forward bend. And as you breathe in, come back into your overhead squat, either high or low, wherever you get to. Really try and open your shoulders on each one. Breathe out, round, forwards. Breathe in, coming back into your overhead squat. And last one, breathing out, up. And then bring your feet closer together. Slowly begin to sink into your squat and sink onto your hips. Use your arms for assistance and come into butterfly first. So we just deepen here before we do the hip mobility. So hands, elbows, or one elbow, one hand, as we normally do. Go into your kind of maximum stretch position, so push down into the stretch. Come out just a tiny bit, just to give you a little bit of room for your contraction, and then push down. If you've done this quite a while, which I think most of you have now, push down quite hard now. So 5, 4, 3, 2. Try and pull your knees off your hands now. So pull your knees down towards the floor for 5. Squeeze the outside hip hard. 4, 3, 2. Move your hands down if you manage to create some space into the new position. Do that one more time. So push down with your hands and up with your knees for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This time switch your hands to the underneath of your knees and pull up with your arms and down hard, really hard on this one with your knees. So push down as hard as you can for 5. Squeeze harder for 4, really working the outside hip. 3, 2. Quickly release your hands and push down, and you may be able to get a little bit deeper and just rest in your butterfly. If your knees are down to the floor, begin to rotate the soles of the feet to the sky. It's fine to be up here, don't forget. So just go to wherever you feel comfortable. So from this position, just move your feet slightly forward, bring your hands inside to the floor. So before you just separate your legs, try and do it with a bit of control. So from here, you're going to lift your legs into a straddle and then lower down if you can. If you need to slide your feet along the floor, so you're going to go out and then you're going to lower. Cool, or just slide and lower. Okay, so from straddle, open to the widest straddle you can, because that will get shallower as you do this. Bring your hands to the outside of your thighs, so your forearms are just lightly touching your thighs. Legs are strong here. Point your toes. It's fine for your back to be a little bit rounded with these ones. So you're going to try and lift, bring your legs together and then push. I'll demonstrate. Or slide your feet and push. Okay, so the hardest one is to try and lift, come in, and then out. Push for 2 seconds hard, and then come back in. Push for 2 seconds hard, and then come back in. And you're going to do that 5 times. But it's fine to slide your legs along the floor like this if you need to. Still push outwards though. So do 5 reps with a 2-second push on each one. If your hips cramp, slowly bring your legs together and lean back. And once you've done your 5 reps with a 2-second hold on each one, just rest in your forward fold. So just walk your hands slightly further forward. If you can come to your forearms, come to your forearms, or maybe deeper, wherever you can get to. So we're going to do that one more set. So when you're ready, slowly walk your hands back in. You can be on your fingertips here, and on this one it is okay to lean back. Try not to lean back too far because you start working different muscle groups. And if you can always sit onto some books if you want to elevate your hips to make it a little bit easier as well. So hands outside, go to your widest straddle first, so wider now. You may be able to get a little bit wider now. Hands just outside, lightly touching your outside thigh with your forearms. Tense your legs, lift or slide, come in, out, squeeze out for 2 seconds, come in, squeeze out 2 seconds, and do this 5 times. Helps with your splits and it helps with your straddle lifts. And it's just strengthening the areas around your hip as well. Once you've done your 2, again, come forward. You may be able to get a little bit deeper now, wherever you can get to. And you can always add a little bit of movement as well, just finding any tight areas. So we're going to work into some side positions now. So first option I'll demonstrate. So you're going to, so sometimes you do this similar towards the end of a class, but we're just going to use it as a warm-up. So your left palm faces upwards underneath your right leg here. This is going to keep nice and strong. And you're going to either lift to this position here and fold towards your left side. So you should feel a stretch out here. It's going to be slightly different. Or the second option, if you can, is to grab the outside foot and pull yourself through. But when you're in this position, instead of just resting here, you're going to imagine, you probably won't be able to do it, lifting your left leg up towards your body. If you're in this position, imagine pushing your shoulder and your knee towards each other. So trying to pull your leg in towards your shoulder and your shoulder down in towards your knee. But if you're here, just imagine trying to lift that left foot off the floor, the left leg off the floor. Again, you may get a bit of cramping down your side here if you do slowly come out of position. So left hand underneath your right thigh, palm faces upwards. Lock that right leg strong to hook the arm underneath. arm comes up, really reach up and side bend towards your left, reach here, or do the rotation. If you're in here, try and lift your leg in towards your shoulder, push your shoulder in towards your leg. If you're here, lift up that left leg, squeeze hard for 5. So working outside your hip flexors, 4, 3, trying to lift, 2, 1, breathe out, release. You may be able to get a little bit deeper into your stretch now, or if you're in your rotation stretch, you may be able to get a little bit deeper. And slowly coming out. And then you're going to work onto the other side. So right palm underneath your left leg, lock that left leg strong and straight. Looking your arm. So either come to here, breathe out, side bend, or do your rotation. Don't forget, so here you're trying to pull your knee in towards your shoulder, shoulder in towards your knee. Here you're just trying to lift that leg off the floor. So when you're ready, lifting or pulling down. 5, 4, squeeze up high. 3, squeeze that outside body. 2, 1, breathe out, release. You may be able to get a little bit lower. And then breathe out, release. Last little bit here, legs are strong and straight. Fingertips, or ideally palms to the floor. You're going to do 10 rotations. Okay, legs straight, or you can keep your knees bent, but make sure it's your hips working and not your knees. Okay, so hips like this, not your knees like this. Cool. Once you've done your 10, you bring your legs together. Bring your arms forward. Really round your spine, so bring your shoulders in front of your hips with a roundy spine, and then begin to round down. So try and bring your lower back to the floor first, then your upper back and bend your head. So we've got 3 sets of split openers, so try and rest with your legs in the top position. It's fine to have your knees bent, but keep your ankles above your hips, okay? This is the first set, so ankles above your hips, with either legs bent or legs straight, okay? We're going to do 10 coming out, and in just a medium speed. It doesn't matter how wide you get, but in the outside position, try and contract the outside hip, the muscles we've been activating so far. So contracting out with the outside hip. Once you've done your 10, rest in the top position, so try not to bring your legs down. You can do less reps if you need to, and if you really need to, of course, bring your legs down. Just a medium speed. Once you've done your 10, move your legs just slightly away from you now. So your legs can still be bent, but you might be able to straighten them now. And then coming out and in this position here. So your legs are slightly away. Second set of 10. To rest, you bring your feet above your hips again, but try and keep your legs straight as you can. Then we've got one final set if we can. You can rest this one out if you need to. Bring your legs a bit closer if you need to bend your knees, that's fine. And then open out and back in here, so 10 times. Or as many reps as you feel. If your inner thigh is getting a little bit too tired, you can rest at any point. Once you've done your 10, bring your feet to the floor. So we're going to do just a set of glute bridges. So you're going to come up, squeeze your hips in a bridge position and come back down. So come up, hold for a second or 2 and come back down, and you're going to do 10 of these. But mind muscle connection, so squeeze as hard as you can in that top position, the back of your hip, your glutes. Come back down, drive through your heels, don't push in with your toes. Try not to let your knees come out too much. And try and flatten your lower back each time you come up. It just allows you to work your glute a little bit more. So once you've done your 10, you're going to come back into a seated position. Just doing a little bit of a different warm up. So doing your 10 and then come up to a seated position. I'll demonstrate. So if you've got a sticky mat, it may be a little bit hard, so you might want to come off your mat for this one. So easy option here is just to try and lift your hip. It doesn't matter if you can't lift, but just try. Then you're going to bend your knees and roll back, and then you're going to roll forward and try and lift your hips. And every time you roll, you can use a little bit of momentum to try and lift up a little bit higher. But the harder one, the one you want to try and eventually work, is to create compression in your pike for your handstands as well. So from here, you're going to pike and lift your hips, And then you're going to keep your legs straight and just bring your lower back to the floor, so hollow body in gymnastics. Slide up and here. So you're going to do 10 of one of those options. Easy option, bend your knees and roll, and just lift your hips, bend your knees. Just please don't bang your head on anything. Do make sure you check behind you before doing your set of 10. So we've got 3 sets of this or a similar exercise to do. This is the first set of 10. So these help with your jump backs here if you do Ashtanga yoga. Really push through your upper back as well, trying to really round that upper spine as you're lifting your hips off the floor. So once you've done your 10, stay on your back. Bring your left knee in towards your chest. Keep it in nice and tight. Hands can be on the floor, or you can keep your knee in with your hands. You're going to drive through your right heel up and down 10 times for your right glute now. This is mind muscle connection. Try and keep that knee in nice and tight. It just flexes your spine a little bit. Once you've done your 10 on that side, bring your other knee in, up and down 10 times. And once you've done 10 each side, come back to a seated position. Don't forget you can rest, you can get a drink at any point. So we're going to do our second set of our compression lifts. Okay, so again, it can be the easy version here, or it can be the harder version, really trying to work that compression. Imagine sliding your feet all the way through as you're lifting, and then come down. Again, if you get any cramping in your quads or your hip flexors or your core, just rest and extend your arms and legs. That should release. Once you've done about 10 or as many as you're going to do, just stay on your back for a moment. Really pushing, trying to round that upper back. So cool. Really pushing hard through your shoulders. You can always have your fingers turned out slightly, just so you don't get too much compression in your wrists if your wrists are quite tight. And you can always stretch your wrists off. So final set, your glute bridges back to the double legs we did at the start. So coming up and down, just 10. Squeeze your hips maybe a little bit harder. Once you've done your 10, come back to your seated position for the final core routine here before we go. Try and come up to standing. So options, so I'll wait for everyone to finish anyway, but options are going to change on this one. So again, you can work number 1 or number 2 of the ones we just did. Or if you've got the space, you can separate your legs into the straddle, and you can try and do a bit of a straddle lift now. So from here, you're going to roll back. Again, try and just bring your lower back to the floor. You're going to roll up, and then you're going to push hard and lift your hips up as high as you can, and then come back down. Come up, lift, and back down. Okay, so you might want to try that one, or just work 1 or 2 of the opposite ones. Again, if your hips cramp, just lie down straight, bring your arms and legs out straight, and that will release the cramp. But so straddle, rolling back, hands inside, lifting. Final set, or just work one of the first 2. That last one's a little bit advanced, so just be a little bit careful on your wrists. Eventually you want to be able to roll up into a handstand from that position. And then just coming back to just your Dandasana in yoga, so just resting Dandasana, both legs straight, flex your feet just slightly, lower core pulling in, try and create that natural arch in your spine. So if you do need to bend your knees, you can bend your knees. Hands are on the floor, slightly turned down with your fingers, shoulders pushed down, chest slightly up, chin slightly down. So Dandasana, just holding here, keep your quads active. Breathing out, release, and bring your hands behind you, fingers turn out to the side. Cross your ankles, 10 times, you're just going to come in and out. So just working your jump backs. Change across at 5, don't forget, just to even it out. Once you've done about 10, bring your hands further forward. Keeping your ankles crossed, try and bring your knees a little bit closer together. It doesn't matter how far you get in on this one, but it's going to be a static hold. So hands in front, fingers turned out slightly, pull your knees in as tight as you can towards your chest. So it's fine to be here as long as you're pulling inwards. So 3, 2, 1, come out, change across on your legs. Hands on the floor, pull in. 3, 2, 1. Feet go to the floor now, just try and lift your hips. So just trying to lift, it doesn't matter if you can't. 3, 2, 1. Either repeat this one or try and lift your feet, either jump or lift and hold it. So come up and hold, or just try and jump your feet off the floor. 2, 1, come down. So options, you're quite warm now, so you can swing your legs across to the side for the easy version, or try and lift your hips and walk or slide your feet in between, or if you can, lift your hips, close the distance with your hips and jump back. And then come into down dog. And walk your feet towards your hands and roll up to standing. Cool, so we'll do some sun salutations, then we'll do a little bit of a harder flow, but you can rest at any point, don't forget, okay? I'll just move my mat. Right, so come towards the top of your mat. Feet can be together or hip distance, it's your choice. Ashtanga is together, but it's your choice. Front thighs tight, lower core pulls in, just slightly breathing in, sweep your arms up. Maybe bring your palms together and look towards your thumbs. Breathing out, fold forwards, lead with your chest, head drops last. Hands to your shins or the floor. Breathe in, flat back, look forward. So if you need to work your hands higher on your legs, you can do. Then your hands come back down, set your shoulders, step or jump back to plank. Either chaturanga, up dog if you know that, or you can bring your knees down, come all the way to the floor. Breathe in, just use your back muscles to lift and bend your arms into cobra if your hips are down. And breathe out, everyone into down dog. Hold in here. So we're going to do our press flows on this one. So just begin to walk your hands back towards your feet. So slowly walking your hands back towards your feet. Bend your knees as much as you need. Bring your feet to the sides of your mat. Hands can be on your shins here or ideally the floor. You're going to bend your knees just enough to get the legs and body connected. Breathe out, straighten. So breathe in, bend. Breathe out, straighten. Try to maybe stay a little bit deeper each time you straighten your legs, as long as there's no pain, especially in your front hip. Don't forget, you do tend to be a little bit more flexible in the heat, so just be a little bit careful you're not going too deep into a stretch. So when you're ready, bend your knees enough to get the connection with your legs and your body. Hands are underneath your shoulders. Then you're going to come onto your toes and just jump forwards and then walk your hands forward. Or you can step forwards, or eventually you can begin to float forwards. So push hard through your shoulders and float your feet forwards. Coming all the way towards the front of your mat. Once you're at the front of your mat, slowly roll up to standing. And stretch your wrists off at any point. Don't forget, yoga can put a lot of compression on your wrists. So round 2. So maybe handstand jumps on this one, you don't have to do it. So when you're ready, breathing in, hands come up. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, flat back. Breathing out, hands down, step or jump back. Now, if you're jumping back, try and slow the jump down a bit. Go through your sequence, your knees can come down or you can come into chaturanga. Then it's upward facing dog where your hips are off the floor. Hands push down and towards your body and then into down dog. If anyone needs a video of that sequence so you don't get confused, I can send it to you. Just message me afterwards. So holding down dog for a moment. So 5 times, you're just going to bend your knees and straighten, just like we did at the start of a session. And then you're going to bring your knees to the floor. If you know what you're doing, you can keep down dog, okay? So either bring your knees to the floor or hold downward facing dog if you know what's coming next. So once you've done your 5, you're going to come back into down dog. If you have any ankle, knee or hip issues, definitely just repeat that one. Otherwise, you can jump and kick your heels towards your hips. As long as you can control the landing, as long as there's no noise. I can't hear the noise anyway. So it's your choice, but please don't let your knees cave inwards if you're doing the jumping. Make sure your knees track over your second toe, as you should do on any kind of squat jumping motion. If your knees cave in, it puts a lot of stress on your ACL ligaments. And then either holding down dog or knees down. Final set coming up. So again, you can stick at 1, just the knee bends, 2 the heel jumps, or 3 just coming up just a touch higher and back down, as long as you can control the jumps. So 5 knee bends, 5 heel tucks, or 5 handstand tucks, your choice. As long as you can control the handstands, of course. And you can do it against an object too, so you're not going to go over. Nice, yeah, cool. Once you've done your 5, nice one, yeah. We're going to rest in child's pose, just for a few breaths. If you need to stretch your wrists off, stretch your wrists off. So when you come forward now from downward facing dog, you can either try and step forward, which is an easy option, try and float forward for yoga. If you're working Ashtanga yoga, try and float forward. Or if you want to play around a bit, you can do your handstand tuck forward fold, your choice. So when you're ready, come to all fours. Set your shoulders, tuck your toes, hips up and back. Attention comes onto your breathing first, don't forget, lower core pulls in slowly. Ideally, in down dog, your gaze wants to be up towards your navel if you can, but please don't strain your neck, okay, so that is quite advanced. So it's fine to look between your legs, but eventually you want to bring your gaze up so you can see almost your navel. So bend your knees, look in between your thumbs, set your shoulders, step, jump or handstand tuck forwards. It's fine just to jump or step forwards, don't forget. And then breathing out, forward fold. And on this one, we're just going to round the spine coming all the way up. Cool. So we're going to do one more of A, just with the help on the jump back now. These can be a little bit hard again. So feet together, breathing in, hands come up. Look towards your thumbs. Breathing out, forward fold. Head drops last, hands come to shins or the floor. Breathing in, flat back. And then we're going to rest here. So come into squat now to rest. So you're going to rest in squat, either heels down or with your toes down. Okay, so I'll demonstrate. So these just help you work your jump backs in yoga. So from here, I'm demonstrating first. You want to get your body and your legs connected. So bend your knees as much as you need to do that. This is hard, so you can add a little bit of a jump, okay? But try and float eventually. You don't even have to be able to lift your feet off the floor, but just try. So from here, you're going to push hard for your shoulders, try and lift your feet and place them back down where they take off from. It's fine to add a little bit of a jump, but make sure if your feet move back, you bring them forward before you work it again. So it's fine to do with bend knees like this. This is fine, okay? So do 5, and then come back to rest in your squat position and maybe stretch your wrists off if your wrists. So push hard through your shoulders. In yoga, they always say it's your core that doesn't work, but this is actually shoulders, your traps, your upper traps. Push hard through your upper back. Cool. And then once you've done about 5, just come down. So we're going to do, again, 2 more sets. Try not to hold your breath. Ideally, you're doing a jump back on an inhale. So exhale in yoga. So try not to hold your breath. So second option, you can either repeat this one, or 2, you can just add a little bit of a jump, which is actually easier anyway. So just jump up and place your feet down. Jump up and place your feet down. Maybe trying to kick your heels towards your hips, or just a jump is fine. 5 times. If your feet move back, keep coming forward into your forward fold. So do 5 attempts at that. If you can always rest these out. You can get a drink if you need to. Cool. down. So we've got one last set to do. So work either number 1 or number 2, or you can maybe just come a little bit higher. So just coming a little bit higher into kind of a tuck handstand, which is a little bit harder. So maybe just coming up just a touch higher and then back down. Okay, 5 times, but it's fine just to be working 1 or 2 and then come down to rest. You can leave this bit out, don't forget, if you're feeling really tired. These put a lot of stress through your back and your shoulders because it's really a kind of a strength move. So you can leave these out if you need to. Cool. So come down into your squat, just stretch your wrists off. So now when you jump back in your sun salutations, try and work the muscles you were just working in that exercise there. To try, if you can always step back, don't forget, but if you're jumping back, try and slow the jump down. So when you're ready, slowly come into a flat back forward fold, where we've kind of finished. And then your hands come down. So bend your knees as much as you need to get your body and your legs connected. Set your shoulders hard, step, jump, or try and float your feet back. And then go through any sequence you want to do. So knees can come down into cobra, or you can come into down dog, up dog. And then everybody into down dog. Bend your knees, look in between your thumbs, step or jump forwards on an inhale. If you're getting tired, just step or walk forwards, it's fine. Exhale to deepen your forward fold. And again on this one, just round your spine, just coming up to standing, just to stretch out your back a little bit. Cool, so we're going to do one sun B now, just one today. So feet are together or hip distance apart. Don't forget when you're jumping back or coming forward, it's your choice, either step, float or handstand back or forwards. So hips back, knees forward, breathe in, sweep up. So chair, Ashtanga chair. Breathe out, forward fold. Breathe in, flat back. Breathe out, hands down, step, jump, float back. Either chaturanga up or knees down, coming into cobra. As you inhale, you're coming into your back bend. And then into down dog. So from here, as your left foot turns out, 45, breathing in, step your right foot forward and come up to standing. Or you can come up to standing and then step forwards. Front leg bent, back leg strong, arms are up. Breathing out, hands come back down, step back through your vinyasa. So right foot out, left foot forward, warrior one, left side. Hips face the front in warrior one, don't forget, but keep your back leg strong so your foot's rotated out just to protect the knee. Hands coming down, step back through your sequence. Into down dog. Bend your knees, look in between your thumbs, step, jump, float forwards, flat back. Exhale, deepen your forward fold. We're going to go into chair next. So bend your knees and hips, breathing in, Ashtanga chair. And breathing out, come to standing. Okay, so this is where we'll do a little bit of a sequence now. So again, this can be quite tiring. So rest at any point. I'll just demonstrate something first. So when you're coming into Skandasana or Cossack squat, it's fine to be on your toes, and it's always fine to have your hands down on the floor here. Whatever you do, please don't allow the knee to cave inwards like this. Or if your heel's down, try not to allow your foot to be too far out. So my knee's now caving inwards, so I'm twisting around my knee and my ankle. So knee always over your second toe. Whether you're on your toes like this or your heel here, that ankle here. Okay, always. And just go easy on this, but you can rest it at any point, okay? So when you're ready, feet together. At the top of your mat, we've got to do a vinyasa first to go into down dog. So breathing in, hands up. Breathing out, forward fold, head drops last. Breathing in, flat back. Breathing out, back and down. Breathing in into your back bend. And breathing out into down dog. Attention on your breathing here. So when you're ready, breathing in, right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Keep that leg really straight if you can first. And now you're going to bend your knee and open your right hip. Bring your right knee to your nose, really round your spine as much as you can. Push hard. Try and step or place your foot in between your hands. If you need to help with your hands to bring your leg forward, it's fine. So your right foot should be between both your hands. Keep your left shoulder strong here and your left leg nice and strong. Rotate both feet towards your right. So you're going on the outside of your left foot at the back. Cool. So here both hands can stay on the floor and you can step back to side plank like this. Or you can reach your top arm up. Or you can step back into wild thing if you know wild thing. Or even lift your right leg off the floor. Slowly transition your right knee into your chest, keeping your left shoulder strong, and step forward into lunge. So we're going to do this sequence a couple of times, so this one we're just sort of demonstrating things. So both feet now turn towards your left, keeping your right knee bent. So you're going to drop into Cossack or Skandasana on your right side, like this. So it should be your right leg is bent. This is a point where your knee needs to track over your toes. And keeping as low to the floor as you can, you're going to work across to the back of your mat into your left Skandasana. Cool, so like this. Then we're going to come into Warrior 3 on your right leg. So push off your back foot, come into a balance pose on your right leg. Have your hands by your hips, palms facing inwards. Slight bend in your supporting leg. So Warrior 3. Start to slowly bend your right knee and slowly drop your back toes down. Breathing in, crescent lunge, but really open your chest as we did before. And breathing out, hands come down. Step back. Through your vinyasa. Knees can come down. Don't forget, if you're breathing too heavily, just slow it down or stop at any point. And then come into child's pose just for a quick few breaths before we do the other side. Try and slow your exhale down. Slowly coming back to all fours, hands and knees. Don't forget, always set your shoulders before you go into down dog as well. Always start in a good position. Set your shoulders and then into down dog. We then work the other side. So left leg nice and high, three-legged dog. Bend your knee, open your left hip. Bring your left knee towards your chin or your nose. Round your upper spine. Try and place a foot in between your hands or use your hands to help it come through. Your left foot is now in between your both hands. Slowly rotate both feet towards your left, going on the outside of your back foot. Keeping both hands down, you can step back to side plank or lift or go into wild thing. Slowly transition your left knee into your chest and step back into lunge, where we started. So left foot forward, cool. Both feet now rotate to the other way, so going towards your right, and you're keeping your left knee bent into Skandasana, Cossack on your left side. You can be on your toes here, don't forget. Keeping as low to the floor as you can, so keep your hips open, move across to your right Skandasana. Coming into Warrior 3 now on your left leg, so drive off your back foot, come into Warrior 3, left leg. Hands are by your hips on this Warrior 3. Start to bend your supporting knee, drop your back foot down. Come into crescent, opening your chest and your shoulders. Breathing out, hands down. Step back through your vinyasa or rest. And then come into your child's pose after you hit down dog. And just rest there for a moment. So we're going to do that one more time each side with a little variation, but that's kind of a main bit. So hopefully you're all okay doing that. So in side plank, always push your shoulder away from your ear. Keep that shoulder really strong. Both hands can always be on the floor. And when you're turning your feet to the side, always keep your back leg really strong. So you should be feeling a bit of a stretch in the outside hip and not your knee. And again, you can rest at any point. You can always build these sequences up. Just do the first bit of it and then rest. And gradually just build it up. So a couple more breaths. So when you're ready, coming back to hands and knees. Knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Another thing, in down dog, try and keep your index knuckle down as much as you can, just to balance your wrists. Some people do find that harder depending on the shape of your elbows. So just try it as your best to keep your index finger down. So when you're ready, set your shoulders, tuck your toes, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Breathing in, right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Bend your right knee, open your hip. Bring your knee to your nose, round your spine, and then place your foot in between your hands, or help it come through with your hands. Both feet rotate towards your right, going on the outside of your left foot, either keeping both hands down, or stepping back to side plank, or wild thing if you want to add a bit of a back bend. Slowly transition your right knee into your chest, slowly step back to lunge. Both feet now rotate towards your left, so you're going to go into Skandasana, your right leg is bent. I'll just demonstrate. So in Skandasana, instead of just staying here, you can open it up now, so you can sweep your right hand to your right and reach your left hand up and look towards your left fingertips. Or you can try and make a bind around your shin here. It's your choice. So either here or here. Whatever one you're doing, slowly come back down. Keep as low to the floor as you can as you move across to your left side. Do the same here. So either reach your right hand up, looking towards your fingers, or work the bind. Cool. Releasing the bind or bringing your hand down, slowly transition into warrior three on your right leg. So right leg slightly bent, hands are by your hips. Bend your right knee, slowly come into crescent lunge. And now your hands come down and your back knee comes down. And you're going to straighten out your front leg as much as you can into half splits. The knee can be bent. If your hamstrings are really tight, keep your front knee bent like this. So breathing in, lengthen your spine. Breathing out, forward fold. Breathing in, coming onto your fingertips now. Again, it doesn't matter if you can't lift, you're just going to try and lift your front leg up and down 5 times. Or just attempt to lift it like this 5 times. It doesn't matter if you can or can't, just try. Once you've done your 5, you're going to bend your front knee and maybe lift your back leg if you can. And then you're going to move between these 2 positions. Or every time this front leg straightens, you can lift it or slide it a little bit further out, and then repeat the sequence: bend, straighten, slide. Maybe working into your front splits, or staying in between these 2 positions is fine. Make sure there's no pain. You can rest. You can come out and get a drink if you want to. If you're in your front splits, slowly begin to work your way back into your half splits, where your hips are above your back knee. So bring both hands inside your front leg. You're going to bend your right leg and hook it out to the side. Place your hands shoulder distance and then lift the knee as high as you can. Try and keep an ankle in line with your knee, so don't bring your foot into your glute, keep it out. Hold up as high as you can without rotating your body too much. 3, squeeze the outside hip hard. 2, 1, come down. Just a couple of breaths in child's pose before we do the same sequence on the other side. This is a little bit of an advanced sequence, so you can rest at any point, don't forget. Slowly coming back to hands and knees. Last sequence. Set your shoulders, tuck your toes, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Left leg to the sky, 3-legged dog. Bend your left knee, open your hip. Bring your knee to your chin, round your spine, place or help your foot come in between your hands. Back leg stays really strong here. Don't forget, rotate both feet towards your left, going on the outside of your right foot. Either stay here with both hands down, or side plank, or wild thing. Left knee into chest, slowly stepping back into lunge, left foot forward. Rotate both feet towards your right now, drop into Skandasana, Cossack on your left leg. So your left knee is bent, heel or toes on the floor. So open it up, so either right hand up or make a bind. If you're making a bind, try and open your shoulder, your top shoulder, and look up still, or it's fine to be here. Release in a position, keep as low to the floor as you can as you work your way towards your right side. Do the same on this side, so open up or bind. Look towards where your fingers are pointing, or open your top shoulder. Breathing out, release. Drive it off your back foot, come into warrior three, left side. Slight bend in your left knee. Start to bend your left knee, drop your toes down, come into crescent lunge. Hands come down, drop your back knee down. Half splits, again the front leg never has to straighten out, but if you can straighten it out. Take an inhale to lengthen your spine, exhale to forward fold. It can be with bent knees like this, is fine. Coming up onto your fingertips, try and lift your leg. It doesn't matter if you can't, try and lift up and down 5 times. Don't hold your breath. Once you've done your 5, release the hamstring by bending your front knee, and then maybe lift your back knee and work in between these 2 positions. Or every time that front leg straightens, slide out a little bit deeper into your front splits. Or just rest. If you're in your front splits, slowly start to work your way back into half splits. Bring both hands to the inside of your front leg. So you're going to sweep it, bend your left leg, sweep it around to the side, keep it nice and high. Place your hands shoulder underneath your shoulders and lift that leg as high as you can. Hold it. 3, squeeze that outside hip hard. 2, 1, drop down. Set your shoulders again, we're going to come to our back now. So come into your down dog. Walk your feet towards your hands. And then begin to lower onto your seat. Use your arms for assistance. Extend your legs forward. Arms come forward. Bring your shoulders in front of your hips if you can, rounding your spine. And then slowly begin to roll down. Last little bit. So feet hip distance. Drive through your heels. Just come into a simple bridge. So hold in here. You can either stay here or you can interlace your fingers and maybe walk your shoulders in a little bit deeper towards your heels, lifting your hips up as long as there's no pressure in your neck. Start to walk out again, and then everybody starts to come back down. Bring your left knee in, tight your body as you can, and then extend your right leg to the floor and really drive your right heel away from you, so you may feel a bit of stretching in your right hip flexor. So we do quite a lot of hip flexor strength work, so you may feel a bit of a stretch here now. Really keep your right leg straight and drive your heel down away from you. Your leg is on the floor and you're pulling your top knee in tight your body. Breathing out, just release a little bit, then use your right hand to guide your left knee across towards your right. Your left arm comes out to the left, look over your left shoulder, palm faces upwards on your left hand. Spinal twist. Breathing in, knees into chest, both knees into chest first. And then pull your right knee in nice and tight and then extend your left leg to the floor. Drive your heel away from you, keep a leg really straight. You may feel a stretch in the front hip flexor on your left side. Breathing out, release a little bit. Use your left arm to guide your knee across towards your left. Right arm out to right, looking over your right shoulder. Breathing in, knees into chest. So begin to round your spine, lift your head and rock forwards and backwards. You try not to have any bumping between your hips and your shoulders. So try and keep your spine really rounded here. So it should be a smooth roll. If you ever do Ashtanga yoga, this roll is quite important. You have to do it in a lotus position at some point. So when you're ready, slowly use your arms for assistance, but try and roll up onto your feet. Use the backs of your hands, bring the backs of your hands to the mat. Use your legs to rest your body on. And let your head just hang loose, just to stretch out your neck. Breathing out, slowly begin to straighten your legs and then roll up to standing, just slowly. Shoulders unroll, your chin left, the lifts last. Just to finish, you're going to bring your right heel in towards your glute as tight as you can and then grab it, or lift it as tight as you can. Hold it for 2 seconds, drop it down and then swing it into position. Knees together, abs are tight. Push your foot into your hand, your ankle into your hand, tense in the front thigh. Holding it here. Slowly release your foot and keep the foot pulling in. 3, 2, 1. Lift the knee, extend the leg, and then drop it down. And then we go on to the other side. So lift your heel in, tight your glute, grab, or lift it, come down and then swing it into position. Push your foot into your hand first. 3, 2, 1. Drop the foot, keep the foot pulling in. 3, 2, 1, lift the knee, extend the leg to release the hamstring. Come down, grab your hands together. Breathe in, lift your chest and your shoulders. Maybe extend your elbows. Breathe in, maybe lift your elbows. And breathe out, maybe fold forwards. Bend your knees, slowly come out of position, rounding your spine, coming up. Grab your wrists together, elbows out to the side. Pull your arms apart slightly. Pull your shoulder blades apart slightly. Breathing out, release the position and just roll your spine up to standing.